Okay, Jay,
Yeah.
what was it like growing up in LA?
Growing up in LA, I grew up in a notorious housing projects called the Nickerson Gardens in Watts. And for those who don't know what Watts is a little sub ghetto of Los Angeles County. It's not really that big. It's right next to Compton, California. So, we grew up in the roughest part of Los Angeles. And growing up in the roughest part of Los Angeles, everything about that is poverty. And when you're living in poverty, what's the thing? We all want to get out of poverty. So we looked up to the big drug dealers. We looked up to the big homeboys who was gang banging. It was either drug dealing or gang bang. Which one you gonna go? Sometime there was an in between. Then those who went straight, but not all of us went straight. I was one of the ones that went the two sides. Either I went with gang banging and drug dealing. So both of these was my lane in life, and both of these was my reality. Both of these are the things that I was indoctrinated in, and both of these things that I wanted to conquer. So growing up, I got indoctrinated around when I was about 12 or 13. For those that don't know how old I am, I'm 51 right now, so 12 or 13 way back then. So this is like the early 80s when I got involved in the blood and cripping thing. But I grew up as a blood. I had a bunch of relatives who are Crips, so it's ironic that those that I look up to, they became some of my worst enemies, and these was my first relatives. But coming up in Watts, one of the things I wanted to do was get my mother out of the ghetto. I had a father who was deep in the game, not gangs, but in the game. He was deep in the weed game, big dude. This dude, he was like a big time dude, but he wasn't with giving me anything, no handouts, none of that. He basically say, when I was your age, I went out there and got it. So he planted that seed in me to go out there and get it by any means, and that's what I did. I went out there and get it. So back then, when I was around 13 or 14, I got caught. No, my first case was a GTA, Grand Theft Auto, joyride with some of my homeboys. And as I'm going to court for that, I end up getting caught up with a gun at school. At 14 years old, I'm fighting a gun case in a GTA. First thing I realized, I was on my way to a juvenile camp back in 1987 at 14 years old. They told me I had to do 6 months with a 3-year max. I go to this juvenile camp. I get out thinking I'm harder than what I went than before I went in. So my thing is I wanted to capture that dream of becoming that drug dealer now because I was learning everything about the gang lifestyle because when I was coming up and going through the juvenile facility, it was not but about gang banging. Everything was gang banging. The Bloods was very short back then. So I'm saying the Crips was maybe about 10 Crips to every 3 Bloods. So the numbers was totally off. So as a Blood, it was very hard coming up in the juvenile system. But I'm one of the ones that survived because if you survive, that means you handled your business coming up. And I ain't
Yeah.
saying that I beat up everybody. I ain't beat up no everybody. But the thing is, I stayed down for mine. When I was going to camp through 1987, when I was going through camp, I turned 15 in camp. And I remember this guy once told me, it was not just me, he was telling a bunch of other juveniles. He's like, I look around this room, some of you guys is coming back within a year. Some of you guys is going to be dead within a year of your release. And maybe one or two of you guys is going to make it in life. And I used to sit and wonder what percentage which one was I going to fall into? Because in my mind, I knew I wasn't going to die. And in my mind, I wasn't coming back. So I always thought I was going to be that 1% that actually made it in life. That's what I thought. That's what I made myself believe that I was going to be that. But my intent was to be the best banger this time when I get out, and then be the best drug dealer when I get out, because I wouldn't get caught in either one. That's the way I was thinking as a juvenile back at 14, 15 years old. So once I hit the streets, late 1987, I hit the streets. First thing I did, I went straight to the guy that I looked up. He was a big time drug dealer in my neighborhood. I looked up to him. I asked him to give me some crack. He gave me some crack. I went straight to the corner and curve served. Those who don't know curve serve mean, that mean all of us little young dudes out there on the corner wait for some people to come buy this crack up off of us so we can go back to the man and give him our money, get double up, and go back out there. So that was my life. That's basically when life actually started for me. Things started changing. I felt that I became an adult. I never asked my mother for nothing else from that day forward when it comes to finances.
So what happened after that? You're selling crack. Who do you look up to? Like, do you have big homies?
Yeah, them was actually the people I looked up to was big time drug dealers. One was who was I consider my god brother, who I talk about in my book a lot. I used to look up to him because he raised me in the hood. I always wanted to be like him and better than him. And so I used to sit in the crack house with him at a very young age, and he used to be having like large quantities of this stuff, and he used to be cooking it all up, and I just used to sit and watch him, help him count his money. Everything in my mind is like, I want to be just like him.
Yeah.
I just dreamed about just being just like him. And that was just everything my life was about, just be like him. If I could be like him, what do I do to, just to get to that level of the money? It wasn't really being a drug dealer. It was just because the money, all the money you saw, that's what I wanted, the money. And if it was like sell drugs, that's what I was going to do.
You never had like someone older tell you, don't do that, like you're gonna end up dead or in jail. No one ever tried to tell you that?
Well, you know what? A lot of OG homies don't get credit for, because there's a lot of OG homies that really used to tell us young dudes like, take your ass to school. What is you doing out here ditching school? You don't need to be doing that. There's a lot of OG homies that do tell the young homies this, but a lot of young homies not trying to hear that, because a lot of times when you telling us this, you're not showing us no alternative.
Yeah.
So we basically not trying to really hear what you're talking about. But when I grew up, we did look up to our big homies. Nowadays, it's a little more different because they don't look up to the big homies, but we did look up to our elders. But when they telling us to, get your life together, I mean, get our life together, what? We all in this, what they call a bucket of crabs. We all up in this same little hole right here, hole of poverty. We all trying to figure out how we get up out of here. And drug dealing at that time, this is the 80s. Drug dealing at that time seemed like the way out.
So you're in the hood, you're selling crack. How do you get caught up?
Well, this crazy thing that I'd never been arrested for drug dealing, because I wasn't really no major drug dealer. Now let's go to like the late 88, early 89. I started making my way over there to my father. My father was over there in West LA. He had big, big weed spots out there. I'm talking about, he was like one of the biggest weed dealers over there. So I started making my way over there, trying to hang out with him. But we didn't really get along. Well, he got along with me. I just didn't get along with him, because he used to make it too hard for me out there. So eventually I talked to one of his bodyguards. I'm like, look, man, why don't you tell my father to put me in? So when his bodyguards got at him, my father flossed, yeah, that's my son. I'm looking out for him anyway. So he played right into what I needed him to play into. And my father put me in the game, the weed game, this right before I was arrested. And within a month, I was doing way better than most people in my neighborhood when I got in the weed game with my father now. I was personally, back then, this is 88, 9, I was 16. I'm making about $500 to $1,000 a day for myself when I was messing with my father. So I'm making all this money, bringing it back to the hood. One of the first things I did, I went and purchased me a Cadillac.
What color?
This little guy, it was a candy apple gold with a brown crushed velvet top, brown crushed velvet seats. And the first thing I did, I went and put some rims on it.
Yeah. Were they
And I just,
spinning?
my shit was, no, it wasn't no spinners. No, see, in our hood in LA, we didn't do the spinners, especially back then. Spinners wasn't even out back then. We drove the Dayton spokes, the ones you see on the lowriders and stuff.
I was gonna
Them the
say,
kind
did
of
it do
rims
that thing? Did it like shh? What's that called?
you talking about low ride?
Yeah. Did it low ride?
No, the cool thing is that it looked like a lowrider
Oh, okay.
because it was fixed all up, but I didn't have the lowrider kit on it and nothing like that. But it looked just like when you see it, you say, okay, that's a
That would
lowrider.
mess the
It
car
looked
up
like one.
anyway, no? Every time I see them doing that thing where they like the front of the car, I'm like, bro, isn't that
Yeah.
ruining the car? But you know what I mean? But candy apple red, ooh, I'm jealous.
No, it was candy apple gold. It was candy apple
Oh,
gold
candy
with the
apple
brown
gold. Oh, wait,
It
how
was
old are
it was a,
you?
I was 16 back then.
You
That
have
was
a
1989. I was
16-year-old has that type of
Yeah.
car. You didn't think like that
Yeah, you know what?
you're kind of like,
Look, in the hood and Watts, back then, to be a baller, the status of a baller was those that were driving Cadillacs, BMWs, Mercedes Benzes, and certain type of lowriders. You had to have all this to be considered or seen as a bowler because every Sunday night we would go to the Crenshaw Strip, Crenshaw Boulevard. So
Always
this is
show
where
off.
everybody pull everybody pull their luxury cars, luxury trucks, motorcycles. Everybody come up from all over. Everybody go on this long strip on Crenshaw Boulevard. Everybody show off what they got. This is where all the ballers meet. This is where all the females come and show off. It's one of them things, what they call the
Let's see who can
sideshow.
get the most bitches.
All that. Not it ain't just only that. It's business deals being made. It's all kind of shit. Ballers shaking hands. So it's a bunch of everything. It's a sideshow, and this is where you come show off at. You come show off your shit. Okay. So yeah. So my first car was a Cadillac, and I started looking at pictures that my mother had sent me when I came to prison. I didn't realize how young I looked in a big ass Cadillac.
Yeah. I was going to say, bro, because a 16-year-old, like, my first car was an Acura. And not a new one. Like, it was cool. But I love that car anyway.
Right.
I would have been happy with anything. But you didn't think you were kind of making yourself seem like...
You sticking out like a sore thumb. You're in the ghetto.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. You didn't think you were going to stick out a lot?
Well, the thing is, growing up, we got this certain type of mentality in the hood. We got a cold mentality. Our mentality is to show off what we got, right?
Yeah.
Although it's supposed to be the opposite way around, but that's just a part of the indoctrination phase that when we get into this lifestyle, this is what you're supposed to do. But we don't realize that that's actually the backwards way of doing things. And a lot of things growing up in the culture, we did a lot of things that's backwards. That's why a lot of us get caught up in the hype. And when we get caught up in the hype, we get caught up in these prisons, this is when we start really paying attention to, like, damn, what the fuck I was doing. Yeah. And even when I think back, like, what the hell I was doing? I was a 16-year-old driving this big old Cadillac. But in my mind back then, I didn't see myself as a 16-year-old. Yeah. I felt that I was a grown man doing grown man shit, and I was in the hood flossing. That was the thing, the floss. You got money, you floss. That's the mentality. Not having
money and then you get some, you kind of want to spend it on yourself. Like, I got to treat myself. I worked real hard.
And the thing is, I was treating my crew, though. I was looking out for everybody. Everybody in my crew, they all had to look like they have something. Yeah. And the thing is, we straight didn't have shit, but that was the facade we put on. But guess who we do it for? We do it for the females, because the females want to see who doing it the most. So we hustle hard. And we spend hard just so we can go floss. Yes, it's backwards, but that's just the mentality we had. Yeah. Until this day, you can see it in raps. As soon as a rapper get his first check, the first thing he do, he goes to go get some shine. Because that's the mentality that we indoctrinated with, that when we get the bread, we got this is what we got to do with it. Which is the wrong thing, but that's just some old hood type shit.
So what age did you get arrested?
Back in... it's funny that I was having all this money. It was ghetto money, ghetto riches. I mean, I was having this money back in the summer of 1989. I was about to sell the Cadillac because they used to take it from me all the time. And just like every ghetto motherfucker, I had the shit in my mama's name. But I didn't even have no driver's license. Yeah, so I didn't even have no driver's license. So it was in my mother's name. But the police, every time they saw me, they pulled me over and took it. So I got tired of it. So I was about to buy a smaller car. It was like a fixed up Monte Carlo. And it was one of them little small Monte Carlos, a super sport. So I wanted one of them, and one of my Mexican partners had one. So my Mexican partner and two other my homeboys, they was like, look, man, come with us over here to a different neighborhood, to a Crip neighborhood, to a rival neighborhood, because they was going to take some speakers from some dudes over there, right? Some big ass car speakers. And my silly ass went with them. And as they doing this broad day, as they doing this is July 18, 1989. As they doing this, I'm with them because, everybody looked at me as, not everybody, but in my part of the neighborhood, they looked up to me as just the dude. I was the leader. I didn't even feel like I was the leader, but somehow I was just the leader of it. So I went over there. They taking these speakers out the car. And because I really went because I was buying a car from my Mexican partner, so when I'm over there, the LAPD happened to be driving up while they got these speakers, and they dropped the speakers and ran off, and I stood right there like stuck. I was like, oh my God. So I got arrested right there. Police like, what did you do? Who was them dudes I was with? I said, look, man, I'm on the wrong side of the tracks. I have no idea who them dudes are. So they sent my ass to the juvenile halls. So I'm stuck in the juvenile halls fighting this burglary for some damn car speakers that I was just there. But you know what? I ain't gonna even minimize the role because they told me to come. Just what they doing. I was there. I got called for it. I took the whole case. But as I'm fighting a burglary case, about 2 months into it, they come and bound me over to adult court and charged me with a gang murder. They said I had murdered a Crip and tried to murder five other ones.
Yeah.
So they charged me one murder and five attempted murders. But they had some confidential informants on me. And during trial, I'm fighting this stuff, going to trial. As I'm fighting, they couldn't find one of the informants. He was part of, I ain't gonna put his name out there, but he was a dude that was signed to Death Row Records. The other informant was a drug addict in my neighborhood. He when he got on the stand, he was telling them, I mean, it's in my transcripts, bright as day. He was explaining to them that he was on drugs. He was trying to get out of jail. And when the police showed him pictures of me, he told them, yeah, I know him. And when he told him he knew me, he went along with their story. So when they brought him to trial, they kept him in jail until I got arrested and then went to trial. So his deal that he made with them, it didn't even go through. He still eventually had to do all this time.
How's he even a
So
credible
when dude got
witness if he's a drug addict? I thought he wouldn't. They normally they don't
I
even
swear,
put people like that on the stand.
the DA, she was like, well, do you see him in trial? Or do you see him in the courtroom right now? He said, no. And she said, what? Wait a minute, you mean to tell me that you never told a detective that you seen Jay Burton at the getting out of a car at the scene of a murder and all this old shit? He was like, no, I didn't say that. And she said, okay, well, what did you say? He said, well, I contacted a detective, the homicide detective, said, look, I'm trying to get out of jail. I'm fighting a burglary. I'm fighting all these cases. I'm trying to get out of jail, and I got some information that might can help y'all. And they said, okay, that's what you told him. He said, yeah. And he said, they start showing me pictures of people, and I said, I know Jay. And then he said, from there, I just told them what they wanted to hear. So you saying you never seen Jay get out that car? He said, no. He said, well, why did you say it? They said, well, why did you say it? He said, well, I was on drugs, and I wanted to get back out of jail. That's why I said it. That's it. So you saying Jay was, no, I didn't say that. So this is what they come with. Oh, he's a gangbanger. He's from this hood. This is what they do to their rivals. Oh man, we got to talk about that for about a whole day about what gangbangers do. And then they say, okay, we had an AK-47 right here, and his left ring fingerprint is right here on the handle of his gun. They showed a picture. It wasn't a picture, but it was a photo negative. And my attorney not one time asked for that photo negative. I've been trying to get that photo negative because I know this is not my fingerprint, but I've been trying to get this photo negative for 35 years. They will not give me that photo negative. And people ask why. Because my print don't exist. That's why. And then one lawyer told me a couple of years ago, he said, well, if it is your print and they just planted it there. I said, look, they didn't even plant my fingerprint there. There is no print. That's why they never gave me access. That's why they've been denying me 35 years to get that print. They've been denying me literally 35. I'd have hired all kind of lawyers throughout the years.
I didn't know
I'd
they
have
were
spent
allowed to
tens of
suppress.
thousands of dollars.
They're basically suppressing evidence. Are they allowed to do that?
No, they're not allowed to do it, but this is my case. Yeah, one dude already got exonerated that's dealing with these same police. They got Los Angeles Sheriff's got a unit called the Linwood Viking Sheriffs. Matter of fact, they got a few sheriff gangs,
Yeah.
and some of these Linwood Viking sheriffs are in the feds right now. These motherfuckers are so cold. They file. They got documentaries and all kind of. If you Google the Linwood Viking Sheriffs, they gonna pop up. These motherfuckers was a cold gang. So I am caught up in one of their twists right now. And that's why look, in 2017, I was on my 27th year. I went to a youth offender parole hearing. I'm on my 27th year. And when the DA came up in there, I put the DA on blast. And I said, look, the DA and everybody know that I'm in here for something that the sheriff done created. And the DA didn't want to say nothing about that, right? And the DA was, the DA said, well, the sheriffs, I got a letter from the sheriffs, but they ain't got no letters from no victims, no victim families, or none of that. They just got a letter from the sheriff saying the sheriff's is requesting that the parole board keep Jay in prison. He's still considered a threat to the public and all kind of weirdo shit. But you motherfuckers, the ones that set me up, they know that. So things is coming together. We got a lot of appeals. I got a lot of lawyers on the case. A lot of people around the world been advocating to get me out. So things is coming together. I'm on my way out. Everything happened for a reason. I've been down 35 years now, but they still ain't broke me.
So Describe what it's like to be in jail right now.
Well, to be in prison, okay, to be in jail and be in prison. Jail is usually a county jail or a juvenile facility. Them like jails, they just hold you there till you fight your case. Once you convicted, then you go to prison. One thing about a jail, like a county jail, especially in Los Angeles County, that's one of the worst places. If you can survive that, you can survive prison. County jail is so foul. The way they feed you, the way they house you, the way that everything about the county jail is foul. I mean, you will lose your life up in there. Dudes was in little confines, raping each other, doing all kind of sick. I'm talking about sick, demonic type shit that just way out. But if you can survive that, which I did, you can survive the prison. Now on a prison yard, you got more structure and rules with each section. You got the whites, you got the Mexicans, you got the blacks, you got Bloods and Crips. They basically run the prisons now. And you got Mexicans and whites that's part of Bloods and Crips. You got Mexican gangs, you'll have a couple of blacks that's in there, but white gangs, they just white. You ain't got no like blacks and white gangs in prison or no whites and Mexican gangs. So you got the Mexicans and the whites, typically the Southern California whites and the Southern California Mexicans and the whites usually come together. It's a war in here. Every day you got to figure out how to live, if you're going to survive another day up in here. The bad thing about prison is that you don't know if you're going to make it another day. But the good thing about prison is that everybody is structured. You live by these rules. The key rule about survival in prison is respect. Everything is about respect. You disrespect somebody, you might lose your life.
Yeah, people say that you got to just like give people their space and do your time. Don't let your time do you. And don't like try to like get in, people's business or because you want to just focus on your just doing your time. A lot of people just tell me that.
Well, a lot of people can try to focus on their time, but most for the most part, there's things that you can't get involved in prison that's going to get you involved in other shit.
Yeah.
I remember when I first was told before I came to prison, they said, look, there are three things you don't get involved in: homosexuals, gambling, and drugs. If you get involved in any of that, you're going to get caught up in some shit. And I saw it all happen in these prisons. I've been involved in heavily in gambling. I used to be real big in gambling. So that was one thing they told me to get in. I got in. I just never got DP, meaning discipline, because I was able to pay my debts if I had lost and stuff like that. Drugs, I don't do drugs, so I've never did drugs. But there's a possibility that I was allegedly one of the dudes that was moving weight. And homosexuals, I never got involved in homosexuality, but I've been around a lot of it. There's times that dudes were getting stabbed up behind that kind of stuff. Dudes that was gangsters one day come out the next day, he wearing panties. No, and I mean that in a literal fashion. These are the three things them two of the things I did get involved in. The homosexuality, I never got involved in that, but it was around me a lot, and I seen the damage that it has done to those that really got really involved in the homosexual gangs, right?
Yeah.
And the homosexual lifestyle in these prisons. That's actually the prisons that I'm in now, because I've been on maximum security prisons now. They don't allow homosexuals on the yards that I'm on. I guess that started about 10, 15 years ago. They just stopped putting them on the yards that we own, because if an open homosexual come on our yard, he's going to be victimized. And I ain't talking about sexually.
Why do you think
So
that
they don't
is?
let them. So because the yards that I'm on, they usually yards that they all these dudes are considered gangsters. So open, you got some gangsters that mess with homosexuals, but
Yeah.
for the most part, you better not get caught.
Yeah, like there you can't be open basically if you're a gangster.
No, you can't be. No, yeah, exactly. Gangsters cannot be open, because your homies is coming to holler at you.
They have their own gang in
So
jail, no? What are they called again?
I was in a hole one time, and some dudes were saying they was gay side gangsters, gay boy gangsters, gay boy gangsters.
Gay boy
And I
gangsters.
thought they was playing. I thought they was playing, because everyone I ran it, well, prior to me, I thought they was actually bullshitting. But I ran into a couple of them, and they actually really is a gang here in California, gay boy gangsters. And
What color do
but
they wear on
they
their
don't.
flag? Pink? That's
That's a good
Cameron's
question. I don't.
color.
That's a good question. I don't. I have no idea because they're not on. They're on. They're on PC yards. PC
Mm,
yards in California is called
mm.
SNY, sensitive needs yards. And on them PC yards, but most of them I ran into, they don't look like homosexuals. They look like regular, like former gangster type dudes. But they formed a clique within the prison system, but they on the PC yards, the protected custody yards, or the sensitive needs yards, and many of them is they ain't a lot of them ain't punks. I mean, that's just what they do. They that's the lifestyle they chose since they've been in prison or when they was on the street or wherever I go. That's just the lifestyle they chose, and I guess they stand their ground on it. But in here, a lot of times they get to the streets, they try to go back to their regular lifestyle. But I know in here, I have ran into some, and I thought it was just bullshit, but they actually are some active dudes on that side, which is the sensitive needs in the PC yards.
What do you think your interactions are like with women since you're around men all the time?
I think my interaction with women is great, actually, for real. Okay, let me talk about the part when I used to be thirsty. Every time I talked to a female, it was just straight sex on my mind. But you got to understand, I became Joe when I was 16, so that young bull still was in me.
I
Um,
don't think that ever goes away
then,
for a man, to be honest. You just learn how to
nah,
control it
yeah,
better.
I used the thirsty when I was thirsty. My ex-wife, she ran for almost 20 years. I used to get visits every weekend, and then that started kind of getting boring and shit, right? Because there's times when prison was kind of loose. You could fuck every chance you get. So we should do our thing. We fuck like rabbits, hurry up, get it in, get out.
I heard you think of people be fucking a lot in visiting rooms because I've always like I can't even hold my man's hand like they fucking you know what it is too. Anytime I would come to visit, they purposely put me right
Yeah,
in front where they could like see me, and it's
right.
like, bro, put me in the back. Let me go do some fuck shit too.
Well, the
Damn.
thing is, certain people will have a light on them, and you coming up in there, you look totally different than any of these women up in here. Yeah, you're gonna always have a light on you. Certain people is gonna have a light on them, and they want to see what is you doing up here. So I get it. Some prisons are loose, but some are not. They done got hard now. They on some other shit now with the visiting. Basically, it's like you don't even want to be in visiting. They be so on some way out shit. They hate to see us with a woman out there. And
Yo,
they
they
don't let you
really
have more than
do.
one
I'm
female.
not gonna lie. I think
They hate that shit.
they purposely treat women like shit when we go to come see y'all. I think they want to
Yeah,
make us
they,
never want to come back. Cause I'm not gonna lie. The first time I
that's
went to
that's that's the
Rikers, I
deal.
was like, I'm never
Yeah,
coming back here. This is the worst day of my life. And I'm not even in jail. I'm visiting. And it was the worst day of my
yeah,
life. So I could only imagine what it's like to be inside there for months, let alone years. Some
yeah,
people are in there
yeah,
years. And I remember my
yeah.
friend was like, bro, I should have just copped out and went upstate, up north, I mean, because he's like, bro, like being in Rikers is torture. At least upstate, like I could fucking get some food. I could be on the phone. In Rikers, it's
Uh,
that the way they describe it is like the way you describe in the jail that you had to be in before prison, basically.
yeah. And then they have some hating ass bitches that work out there.
But I think
They
that's
just
because they
straight up
want to fuck my
haters.
man. Anytime a bitch was rude to me, like a CO, I'm like, you probably sucking my man's dick. It's okay, but you could be nice to me. You don't got to be rude to me about it. You're welcome.
They not with that. They
Nah,
not
they
with it.
not.
They don't want. They keep thing is to break up the family,
Yeah.
and in they rules it tell them it's to encourage the family to be up there, but they not with none of that. And then if you got more than one chick, they really be on some hating shit. They low key tell you, he got other girls be coming. So what? You
Yeah.
that miserable that you would tell what the fuck this man got going on. So what? That's his business. That's her business. She probably already know already. So what? That's their business. It don't lead like man. It just crazy. Their whole thing is to discourage a woman from coming to see a man.
Yeah.
They hate that
It's
shit.
like they
I
look
don't
at
know
you like, oh,
why.
you're coming to see a criminal. That means you're a criminal too. You have to be because it's.
But guess
But
what?
it's
They
like, bro,
motherfucking ass is criminals. They criminals.
they're
You know what
actually the
makes
real
you
criminals. That's what's crazy. And what's
what,
insane is
what
like,
makes you a criminal is when you go and shoot a motherfucker in the yard, or you go and do all go and beat one of these dudes up. They will cover that shit up, and
mhm,
everybody involved, all the staff will cover that shit up. That makes you a criminal.
Yeah.
They done
COs be
criminalized
killing so
so
many
many.
people in prison. It's not even normal. Like,
Hey,
there's no
and
reason why.
then they cover it up.
There's no reason why you go to jail and then you just don't come out. Why? Like, there's no
Yeah,
reason.
it's bad. And I'm gonna tell you, they got a thing like this. When the police is jumping on you, they go, "Oh, stop resisting, stop resisting." What they
On
doing? They
purpose.
beating the shit out you. They no, they beating the shit out. That's the way they beat you. And because what they do, they be hollering, "Stop resisting, stop resisting." So people can hear the word "stop resisting" in their mind. It's like you think the dude is actually resisting, but that's the way they get away with kicking you and stomping you out and all that other shit because they be saying, "Stop resisting," but it's not you resisting, but that's their way of doing things. They so foul. Like I say, they the biggest criminals. I call them criminals protecting criminals.
Damn, homie.
That's all
That's
it is.
facts.
Criminals.
Nah, because every
Right,
time I see those
right.
type of videos, they're literally like, stop resisting, stop. And people, I hear people in the background go, I'm not. They'll literally be like, I'm not resisting. I'm not. And they're stop resisting. I'm not. They're like, bro, I can't breathe. And
Exactly.
they'll stop resisting. And they keep pushing their leg. And it's like, bro,
Yeah.
honestly. And then people will try to help. And it's like, then don't help. You'll get arrested too. And it's like, bro, what?
It's a foul system. The system is built. It's a remnant of slavery. Before they released the slaves back in the days, they really didn't have much policing, but they had those who called themselves the slave catchers. So when slaves was getting, running off, and you had the slave catchers, it's just the police force all over. Once they start releasing people from slavery, then they start creating these police forces. But this shit is like us against them mentality, no matter what.
Because they're the biggest gang there is.
There is. The thing is, you can. I had a talk with this one CO. She was a Christian. I said, you're a Christian. I said, you can't be that much of a Christian being a police at the same time because it's a contradiction, right? And I got to breaking down the contradictions. I said, you're going to when these police do something foul, and you got to write up your paperwork is going to match them lies that they telling. Because if you don't, remember, y'all got a code of silence. Code of silence means that y'all can't snitch on each other either. Because if you do, they gonna start retaliating against your ass because you telling it on them. So yes, it is the biggest gang. Gangs we don't supposed to tell. Polices, y'all supposed to be on some civilian shit, but to protect the people. But if y'all tell on each other, y'all look down on that, and y'all get the retaliating against that police for telling on y'all. So the thing is this: y'all are doing something wrong for you to trip on somebody that's telling on y'all. That means y'all not doing something right. So all this shit is a game. They just a gang with a badge, and they can get away with damn near any and everything. And that's the sad part. They got too much power. Just like these motherfuckers in here, they got power over me. Some sucker ass motherfucker wouldn't even look at me on the streets, but he got powers like a motherfucker up in here.
Yeah, and a lot of KKK members are in the police force,
Hell yeah.
which is insane.
Yes. Yes. They are a part of that shit. Yes. I mean, but the thing is, in prison, it's how you really conduct yourself, whether these peers gonna respect you or not, no matter they KKK or whatever. It's how you conduct yourself. If you conduct yourself like a stand-up man, they're gonna respect you and fear you at the same time. That's why they put you in a hole and say, look, you can't be out here with us because it's just your mentality. It's just something about you that scares the shit out of us. So what we do with you, we go and lock your ass up. And when we think we broke you, then we'll let you out. But now, they can't do that to us no more. But shit, they got over 30 years of doing that to us. But I'm experienced 9 years of that, but they didn't break me.
The 9 years you were in the hole, right?
The solitary confinement.
How
But
did you get
over,
it?
I've been down.
How did you end up in the hole?
Well, the thing is this: in 2002, I went to solitary confinement for 3 years. They said that I was involved in the stabbing of a CO. They put me in solitary for 3 years. Then I got out. About 2000, that was 2002, 3, 4, 5. 2005, I got out. I stayed out for several months, and then they came back in 2006. They validated me as a prison gang member, and they said I belong to a prison gang and that I would no longer be in general population unless I parole, snitch, or die. I did 9 years back there, and in the last couple of years, we did the mass hunger strikes. Two people died from the hunger strikes.
How
Um,
long did it need for?
Me, I went about 8 days before I succumbed. It was hard. There was some guys that did 2 weeks. Some did 3 weeks. Like I said, two guys, they sacrificed their lives. And what had happened back in 2013, this when social media was kind of social media was available to us now, not to us that was back there, but to our people on the street. So now with social media, a lot of people around the world is hearing about California keeping people in solitary confinement for what they call administrative reasons. It's a difference between an administrative reason, a disciplinary reason. When you go to the hole for doing something to somebody or getting caught with drugs or whatever, they put you in the hole for disciplinary reasons. But we was back there for what you call administrative reasons, not for doing nothing to nobody, but because of your status in a gang, you was going back there for administrative reasons, and you would stand back there unless you snitch, parole, or die.
How do they put you in the
So
hole
I
for
was
being a
back there.
gang member if that's the only way to survive a prison?
Well, the thing is, they had me. Okay, they already had me already validated as a street gang member, but it was the prison stuff what they put on me, what made me. I can't really say what it is, but it was something they considered a threat to prison. So when they labeled me as that, that's when they said, "Now we got you. You're never getting out the hole again."
Wouldn't they label everybody
So,
then? Because like, look at
no,
no,
it's only certain people. Only like when I was in the gang banging phase of my life, they didn't trip off that because they not tripping on that.
yeah,
But when they validated me as I'm gonna say one of the influential ones.
mm,
Once they validate me as one of them,
yeah,
then okay, you got to go. Because they have no paperwork on me. None of the COs got paperwork on me that I ever worked with them. And a lot of COs they respect because they like, man, for you to be down so long, we ain't got nothing where you ever work for us. Yeah, I don't work with them. I refuse to work with them because the thing is this. It's not that I hate them or anything like that. Y'all doing y'all job. I got my job. My job is to remain loyal to the soil, to keep my morals intact. I don't need to do what these buck dancing ass dudes be doing just to get an extra lunch or to get outside a little longer or go to walk around the yard anytime I want. I don't have to do none of that because that's not me. I'm cut from a different cloth. I'm not finna go around here to go tell the police that this person is doing this. This dude person got cell phones. This dude bringing drugs. And what the fuck I look like telling on them when I don't like to be told on?
true.
Police is down. They don't even like to be told on. So don't nobody like to be told on. What the fuck I look like? So I'm not going to work with you for nothing. You motherfuckers got me in here for another dude that did this shit. I ain't worked for y'all then, and I'm not finna work for y'all now. I just sacrificed my whole life.
Yeah, that's one of the first things you learn as a kid. Don't be a snitch. Nobody likes a little snitch.
Yeah. Even the police don't even like snitches. I'm talking about they don't even like them. They people call it snitching on them.
Yeah,
So
but
the
I'll
thing
snitch on
is,
the cops because that's your fair game.
no, you
It's your
can do
word
that.
against mine. Yep.
No. It's the thing is this: they are not considered in what your circle of considered. Your circle is not police.
Yep.
If you was to tell on the police, that's shit. You can do that.
Fair game.
But we said don't tell on each other.
Yeah.
We can't tell on
But
each
I'm
other.
telling on the
Now with the
police.
police, now look, I just got cashed out 10 racks in 2016. I went to the federal court of downtown Los Angeles. I went to the federal court and fought against all them polices because they refused to give me yard when I was in solitary confinement for a year. And I remember the two COs that took me to from one prison down to downtown LA. He was saying, man, I ain't never seen nobody get over $500. This was a lawsuit though. And I said, y'all ain't seen me in action. See, I'm also a jailhouse lawyer. We can get to that. So I went in there and fought against all they lawyers by myself. I walked out with 10 racks.
Mm.
And I could show I got the paperwork to show. I walked over 10 racks and they was mad as fuck. But the thing is, if you say I told them, I don't give a fuck. Fuck them. Just like they don't give a fuck about me. You motherfuckers been trying to oppress me. No, not trying. You've been oppressing me, and I've been coming out of your oppression every time.
Mm.
Every time you put your foot on my neck, I'm going to come up out of that because I refuse to allow you to do this shit to me. So people like me is stuck in prison. People like me go to parole board. They deny me gang of years. People like me, they refuse to give me a single fingerprint that can exonerate me from the whole case because they want to keep me buried alive. That's why my next book is called God's Son Buried Alive. And that's my prison shit.
So For those that don't know, describe what it's like to be in the hole.
To be in a hole, see, it depends on the individual, but
No,
a
like,
lot of
are
times
you
when you
naked? Do you have clothes? Is there a bed? Is there just nothing? Like, what's in the room?
actually, you know what the crazy thing is that the hole isn't what it used to be back in the days. The hole is basically just like your jail cell that you're in your regular jail cell. It just you limited program. You come out your cell every day. Well, whenever you come out your cell, you handcuffed every time you come out. You go to the yard. You get that's when they say that hour a day. You just
Yeah.
come out basically an hour a day. Sometimes come out for 3 hours today, but won't come out for the next couple of days. So the hole is just like it's just a regular jail cell.
I thought it was just a
And
room,
it's
no bed, like nothing. And then you're in there naked and they take everything away. I thought that's what the hole was. Because when I
well,
watch on
that's more
Oz,
right
that's
there.
what happens.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's more like that right there is more when you're on suicide watch.
Oh,
Actually, that is suicide watch that you are talking about right
that would
there.
make me want to
When
kill
you go to
myself more. What? You take everything, you know what I mean? Like, are they,
yeah,
yeah, that is, I
well,
guess,
when
what
you
they're
go
trying to
when you
do.
go to suicide watch, yeah, that's where you're going to a place with no bed. You might have a
I
mattress on
want
the
to kill myself
floor,
and you're
the
going to take
kind
my
you can't
bed
tear up.
away? What do you mean? No bed?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah,
Oh, so
yeah.
you can't like
So
take anything and
so you can't.
suffocate
Yeah,
yourself?
exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
could hit my head
They
against the
get
wall. What?
Well, yeah, you can do that, but they got people sometimes sitting on you, watching you the 24 hours, or you got people that just walking around every 15 minutes just to
Oh,
check and see what
yeah.
you're doing in there.
That would probably
So
drive me
yeah, so
crazy. Not
yeah,
even if you leave me alone for 3 days, I'll be fine. But if a person every 10 minutes is coming by to make sure I'm still there and to check what I'm doing, that would drive a person crazy.
shit. On my last hunger strike in 2015, nurses sat at my door because it's a glass window on the door, and sat on my door for 4 days. Never left. They was just sit there the whole time. Whatever. I think they had like 8 hour shifts, and they would sit there all 8 hour shifts until the next one come and relieve them. The next one come for 4 straight days, and they sat and watched me. And sometimes they'd talk to me, ask me why you don't be eating, why I'm not. They ask me a bunch of questions. Why are you still in prison? Why you been down? You been down that long? Oh, sometimes I entertain the chatter with them because to beat the boredom. And then every time they try to bring breakfast, lunch, or dinner, I go to my little bed area and I turn around and tell them no, just so I won't get the urge to want to go get the food. That was my way of just like I'd like go away.
Yeah.
Then they said, "You sure? You sure? Let's go away." So they go away now. That's good. Now I can go back to my program and starve myself for another whatever how many days.
Are you drinking water or not even water?
Well, sometimes I drink water
Yeah.
because
I
it
could
can be
do nah, but
unbearable.
that's also like I think Beyonce says she did the Beyonce diet, which is basically water, cayenne pepper, lemon juice, and syrup, like, and you just
Yeah.
drink that for 2 weeks, and that's how she lost, I think, 30
God
pounds.
damn.
She lost 30 or 40 pounds for Dream Girls in 2 weeks, but she had to
Yeah.
basically just drink that. And she said it was the hardest thing she had to do. Like that you literally go crazy, like not eating, because
Yeah.
your brain just like my
Hmm.
brain can't function if I'm not eating like for days. Like that's
Right. So yeah, the good thing is that I'm confined when I'm doing it. When
yeah.
you're not confined, that makes it way more harder. But I'm confined, and so I've never been like a hunger strike. I was like where I'm not confined at. Every time I did a hunger strike, I was confined. So it made it I believe that will make it much easier because you can't really go nowhere. So
No, but if you
if I'm more proud
if
of
you
it.
can go anywhere, wouldn't you go straight to McDonald's? You know what I mean? Like, if I can't go anywhere,
That's
then
what
I'm
I'm
good
saying.
starving. Because that was always my thing. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, if I go outside now, my friends are gonna want to go and get some fat food, and I'm like, I'm gonna want some too.
Yeah.
But if I'm just stuck at home doing nothing, I don't know. That's
It's
tough.
easy, but it's easy. It's easy if you confined and I can't get out. I'm good. I can make it. But it starts in the mind. That shit. You really got to tell
Yeah.
yourself that you good.
Self.
You got
What
to
is it
tell
called?
yourself. And the
Willpower.
first day is the hardest, huh?
If you have
Yes, who?
willpower, yeah, you
Yeah,
have to have
willpower.
crazy
You got to
willpower.
have willpower. Yeah, you do. Because without that, you're not gonna do it.
Because food is
It's
literally
the first day
fuel.
is
Like
hard.
it's like you can't drive a car with no
Yeah,
fuel. So it's like how's a person supposed to
yeah,
operate with the food? Is the point of food is to
yeah.
keep you alive and keep you going.
And my thing is to try to lay down as long as I can. Sometimes my body parts get to hurting and shit. I'm the type I lay on my side a lot,
Yeah.
and my shit will get numbed on the side. I could lay on my back, but I'm not good laying on my back. And then I can't lay on my stomach, but I'm like on the side. And my all my shit be numb. I'll be like, fuck. But yeah, I've been through it all.
So in the 35 years that you've been inside, what's the
Mhm.
worst shit you've seen?
The worst shit I've seen.
Yeah, in 35 years.
Well, it has to deal with a man getting aroused to rape somebody. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how could you get aroused by beating somebody up and taking it from them. I could never figure that one out. It just, that's crazy. I see these dudes get off these crazy, these real crazy drugs that make them like go from one person to three or four different people. That's some of the craziest stuff I see. And then I mean, these drugs that certain these like what's that? The synthetic drugs they be bringing up. They be having. Oh, it be flipping these dudes out. They be. I done seen dudes jump off the tier. Matter of fact, when I was in Folsom State Prison, they got 5 tiers. It's 5 stories up. And I used to, when I was on the fifth tier, I was 18 years old back then. This is in 91. I used to look, I was on the fifth tier and it was way up there. I used to look down there like, damn, whoever fall off here, I say only one person to live. Everybody else gonna die. So this one dude, he was off PCP, Sherm. So what he did, he got so high, he laid on the floor and got and just rolled off rolled himself off and fell 5 stories down. But as he falling down, his body is the bars is like stopping like hit is like his arms is
Oh,
catching the bars, so it's slowing his impact down as he going down 5 stories. And man, he hit that ground. We thought he was dead, but he actually lived.
oh
And but
no.
all
If
his
I ever do that, please God,
but
make sure I don't live.
look
What?
like think but everything on his side was broke though.
Oh
His
no.
all his he was broke. His whole body was broke up. But he actually lived off that. And I used to be like, I used to say, man, I used to always say, man, 1 out of 10 people is going to survive this. And when that dude did that, I said, okay, the next 9 gonna die. I seen that. Back in the days, they used to bust the mini 14, them assault rifles when you just was fighting out. And I mean, I was standing right next to a dude when it was me and this white dude. I had just got out the hole. We was standing next to each other, and we was going to the program office for I forgot what reason I was going there for, but he was going there and he was on crutches. So he get into it with the police, and then he get to swinging his crutches, and I'm standing next to him, so I like slide out the way, and man, all the gun towers get to shoot mini 14s at him. You hear him bullets fly past me, the patches, big ass patches of grass flying up. I'm so fucking scared. This shit is crazy because I just know they shooting at me, even though they shooting at him. He ain't too far away from me. This shit, I used to be going through all kind of shit up in here. It was like real crazy. It was literally living in a war zone in my first few years up in prison. And one of the other things you asked me like, what was the craziest stuff that I've seen in
Yeah,
prison?
like stabbings.
I seen too many. Then I've seen so many stabbings. It's crazy. You know, yeah,
What was the
I didn't
worst
see too
one?
many. These Mexicans. Oh, I'm thinking one of the worst. One of the worst ones when these Mexicans got on one of they Mexicans. He was a shot caller, and he thought he was hard. And then, as you know, they turned on his ass. They was stabbing him so much. They stabbed him so much that they was getting tired. I said, "Damn, I never see nobody get tired." They was stabbing him
Be a
so much
workout.
that they was getting tired. No. The thing is, because the thing is, they was ordered to kill him. So
Mm.
when they order you to kill, that means don't stop until it's over. So these dudes are stabbing this dude so much, and like, God damn. And the police get to shooting and stuff, but these Mexicans, these young Mexicans, they some youngsters too. They stabbing this dude, stabbing this. I said, woo! They were so tired and out of breath. I said, damn. I was like, that's a cold way to go out. Now, whether he died or not, I don't know, but it just it. I seen so much bloodshed in prison that this is a war zone. You do get PTSD. This shit really, you really will succumb to PTSD when you're dealing with this prison life. Remember, all my time has been on maximum security yards, and on maximum security yards, it goes up any minute. That's why I talked about earlier about respect. If respect is broken, it's going down. It is going down, and I mean, it's a sad thing when they got weapons and you don't. Because when they come with weapons, boy, it's been some real bad scenes in here.
Oh, you talking about the SWAT team, or just
No,
the
no,
weapons
no, no,
COs
no.
have?
Like the prisoners, prisoners. No, the prisoners, prisoners.
What do they have?
It's
I
I
think
says
what do
about
they have? Batons, guns.
no. The prisoners, no, they all of them make makeshift knives, like stuff made out of metal,
Oh,
iron. Sometimes you have razors and stuff. You know, it's crazy that razors make the worst type of cuts on you, but you got dudes that be having big ass sharp, and sometimes you be seeing dudes with real like house knives, like steak knives and shit. How they get them, don't ask me, but you show a lot of people work with people in here, so yeah, so it's a real terrible scene, and I don't like to subject people to this lifestyle, but this lifestyle, if you come up in here and you get in drug debts, you steal from somebody, that's crazy. You steal from somebody. You steal from somebody, something bad might happen to you up in here. And, you know, it's been times that motherfuckers done try to stab me a few times, but, you know, that's doing war and shit. But I carry myself in a certain type of manner, right? That doesn't mean that I can't get it because nobody in here is exempt from getting took down. I don't give a fuck how big your name is, none of that. Usually, the bigger your name, you the one they actually want because they need that stripe off that name right there.
what would you say to a 15-year-old right now that's in the streets, selling drugs? Like, what advice would you give him as an OG?
But the key thing is, I can't tell you not to get in the game, but I'm gonna tell you if you do get in games, do know this is the things that you're going to face. Now you make the opportunity. Now you make the decision whether you want to get in the game or not. But I'm gonna tell you this: if you get in the game, try to change the game because the gangs doesn't work. It don't work. The only part that gangs work is that when you come to jail, that the gangs will protect you, unless you start doing a bunch of stupid shit and then you on your own. But that's the only aspect of the game is that the gangs is that they will protect you because you're a part of one of theirs. They'll send you on missions. They'll test you too because you got to get tested when you hit these prison yards. Okay, it's your turn to go stab that dude over there. Go do your shit. And if you don't do it, huh? You might be asked out. So you got to go handle your business. You gonna get tested. So if you want to be a part of this gang lifestyle, try to change it. And change it meaning like when I went to trial, I was 17 years old in trial. Nobody said I did anything. They informant came talking about, look, man, I was on dope. I was trying to get out of prison. I was trying to get out of jail. Oh, we got Jay fingerprint on the gun. Even though it's straight bullshit, they had my print on the gun, but my attorney never contested. So I just sat there like I just sat there. But this is where it came in that when they got this saying that, well, these are the bounty hunters. These dudes are known for doing these dudes are known for killing. These dudes are known for this stuff, and they get to talking about that stuff. That's how the game, whether you did it or didn't do it, they painted a picture of what your neighborhood is about. So what it did, the gang lifestyle worked against me. So that's why I be trying to show them, okay, start if you're gonna be a part of the gang lifestyle, try to figure out how can you make it work for you, how you can make it work for your homeboys by changing the perception of your gang. Because if your gang is known for killing up shit, you're not gonna get nowhere. Like with the alleged Italian mafia type things, a lot of them say, oh no, there's no such thing as Italian mafia. That stuff is just some made up stuff. But what they did, they went and changed the game because they not really wanting to be known as no mafia, but they went corporate with their shit. Or you can look at the Klan. They went corporate with that shit. And the thing is, they changed the game. So now the shit works for them.
Hmm.
So that's what I be meaning. If you're gonna get in this, change the game. Because I can't tell you that you shouldn't be no gang member. Because I was one. I was told when I was young, no, you shouldn't get in this lifestyle. But I was this is what I grew up in. This is what I thought all I had was this. Because the gang were my friends.
What alternative would you give them? Let's say they're about to join a gang, but like, what alternative would you give them to say you can go ahead, or you could do this, but it's up to you?
I would just tell you to change the game, start making it work for you because it doesn't work. It's been going on for 50, I'm 51, 52, 53, 54, 53, 50, 53, 54 years gangs has been in existence. And when I mean gangs, I mean the Bloods and Crips. They've been in existence for 53, 54 years now. I don't know any successful gang member that done retired, got a retirement plan, got a health insurance benefits from the gang. I don't see nothing. So imagine if you could change the game and start saying, you know what, in this blood and crib, what we gonna do? We're about to put life insurance on all of us, but we ain't putting it on each other so we can start hurting each other. Think we're gonna get something out of it because we're supposed to love each other, see each other as brothers and sisters, right? So what we're gonna do? We're gonna change the game. We're gonna start giving everybody life insurance. Anytime something happened to a gang member, like say for instance he died, his mother ain't got to go worry about going out there and doing car washes and shit like that. We're gonna have the money for her so she don't have to struggle and trying to figure out how she gonna pay these funeral bills. This is how we're gonna set the game up now. We're gonna set it up to where gang ain't just, we're gonna incorporate the gangs. We're gonna get rid of the name gang and turn it into a corporation. This is what I tell them now. We got to incorporate this shit now because it's here. It look like it ain't going nowhere no time soon. So let's start making this shit work for us. We can get paid off this shit. Hollywood done got paid off of it. These fake ass rappers, the ones that's fake as fuck, they done got paid off of it and made millions off of it. Why can't you, who actually that's involved in this? These are the people that's acting. These are the people that's rapping your life story, but you ain't getting paid nothing. So let's start making it work for you.
So when you overturn your case, what's the first thing you're gonna do?
Well, the first thing I'm gonna do, it just be, my intent. Hopefully, I have them lined up. But I mean by lined up, about two of them for later on that night. This is who I'm retiring with these two tonight because it's been a long time. So I need two of them. That's women. But before that, I want to first go and holler at moms and my pops and thank them for even giving me birth, right? For even bringing me to this world. Thank them for having the patience to deal with this stuff. Go really apologize to my father for um, the hurtful things I said about him throughout the years, because at the end of the day, the man did love me. Um, I just seen things different. He didn't know how to communicate with me when I was young. And that's things like that. But those who stayed down with me, family wise, is not that many. I got a whole bunch of family, but it's not that many that stayed down. I'm gonna make sure they right. And those who are on my team, I'm forever indebted to them. And what I mean by my team, I'm gonna be specific when I say by my team. My prison talk podcast family,
You're
for real. Whether it's Joseph, my boy Steven, and my girl damn homie.
you're
And
prison
those
talk.
for real. Free Rick, salutes to him for looking out for us. And also, I want to give thanks to everybody that has stayed down with me, from Dr. Molina to it's so many people. I got some people call themselves white people for Black Lives. They've been taking care of them. They've been rallying like a motherfucker for me, trying to get me out. And it's a lot of people that has stayed down, especially the people I've met in my last 3 years. They have played a real integral role in my life and trying to get me shine on my case. Those who helped me do my first documentary, it's a lot of them. But those who I stayed down with me, especially those in the last 3 years, I'm coming. And when I come, it's gonna be some good things that come along with that. And I appreciate everybody, and that's real.
What message do you have to the youth?
A message I have to the youth: we are in a world where we are in a state of confusion, and this to the youth. One thing the youth, you must understand is that you got to pay attention to the elders. They're not old for nothing. They made it to this age, so that means that they did a lot of things. And when you think about the things that they've done things to make it easier for you today. Meaning that they just sacrificed. You may look at some that it ain't never sacrificed, but overall, I'm talking about the elders have sacrificed to make it easier for you, the youth. A lot of them haven't, but I'm talking about those that have. The youth, you got to take care of the elder because one day you're gonna be old. I had a celly. He had uh, a O N K on his. I said, "What that sound?" He said, "Old nigga killer." I said, "What?" I said, "What the fuck that mean?" I said, "You know, one day you'll get old, right?" And he said, "Yeah, but I was young when I did this." I said, "But that's the mentality we got to change because one day you will get old. Hopefully, you do get old. Some of you might not, but those who are going to get old, make sure that you treat the elders the way you want to be treated when you came into the life." So that's what I got for the youth. Hopefully, you'll take that and run with it.
Thank you so much, Jay. Actually, me and Jay
I
met
appreciate
on Thanksgiving. It's crazy.
it.
I literally was trying to interview him, and the phone call kept dropping. So, but we kept trying anyway. And then little by little we got to know each other, and we just started like becoming friends, and then we decided to do a podcast together, and now it's been going on for a couple of months. We're working on it. It's called Prison Talk, and it's me, Jay Burton,
Right.
it's Joseph, we have Stephen Kraft, and myself, and it's a show
We
all
got people
about,
like Freeway Rick
yeah, we
that's
got
going to
Freeway
back us.
Rick,
That's been doing our thing.
and
That's backing us doing this thing. Yes, and
it's
I'm
a
gonna tell you. Let
show.
me.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yes, it's a show. It's a podcast. Nobody has done this. You got a prisoner. You got damn homie who got the social media on lock. We got an ex correctional officer and Steve. We got my boy Joseph P. Langdon, who just did 22 years out of Brooklyn, and he's also a author just like myself. I got a couple of books out, and the thing is this: the dynamic that we bring to the table in this podcast, it ain't gonna be like no others. We gonna bring the fire. We gonna bring we done interview snitches. I mean, we got all kind of shit. Can't nobody say that they done got a motherfucking fake ass gangster that done turned snitch and still think he's a gangster and got him to get on a podcast. So we got a lot for y'all. And thanks to damn homie, she's opening that platform for us to bring this to y'all.
Thank you so much, Jay, for coming on the show. This is Jay's book. Once again, I would definitely suggest for you to get it. It's pretty freaking amazing. It's called Shattered Mirror: The Life and Times of a LA Blood, Memoir by Jay Burton. I'm saying it's Burton, but I'm saying it that way so you spell it
Yeah.
correctly when you go on Amazon. Jay, any last words?
But first and foremost, I want to give salutes to you. I want to give you all the praises for even opening up your door when I was knocking. You one of the ones that opened up that door. When you open up the door, you see that I'm an official one. I'm a real one.
Real
Always been
recognize real,
loyal to you,
right?
just like you loyal to me. And that, like they say, that saying is true. She just said, "Real, recognize real." And then once she seen that I was bigger than this prison cell and that I had a lot of going on, we realized that we're assets to this thing and we're going to make it happen. So once again, thank you. Thank my team. We're going to continue to do what we do. And trust me, in the near future, I'm talking about real close,
Real
we're
soon.
about to blow this shit out.